I just priced a 7-night Caribbean cruise for 2 people with food, drinks, Wi-Fi, and entertainment included for less than what a weekend at an average hotel in Key West would cost. And no, it's not some shady ship you've never heard of. It's MSC. So how are they still doing this while everyone else is charging double? It turns out the answer is even crazier than it was last time. Hey y'all, I'm Evan with Family at Sea, where we help make every cruise unforgettable. MSC Cruises have become the go-to line for shockingly cheap fares. But after sailing with them multiple times and seeing how their US game is evolving, I wanted to dig deeper. Because let's be real, low prices aren't just luck, they're a strategy. When one cruise line keeps undercutting everyone else by hundreds or even thousands of dollars, you've got to ask why. I found the answers, and a few of them are wilder than you'd expect. So in this video, I'll break down the real business moves behind MSC's pricing, what trade-offs you should expect on board, and why your cruise might be subsidized by someone sipping champagne in a suite you didn't even know existed. If you're ready, I am. Let's go. MSC isn't new to cruising, but they're still the outsider in the US market, and they know it. While Carnival and Royal Caribbean have decades of brand recognition here, MSC is still in that awkward trying to get invited to the party phase. That's exactly why their prices are so aggressive. This isn't charity, it's strategy. They're not trying to make a killing on your first booking, they're trying to get you on board once. Because if you cruise with them and think, that wasn't bad, well, there's a good chance you'll book again. And the next time, you might even upgrade. Maybe even to the yacht club. So when you see those $299 fares with drinks, Wi-Fi, and a balcony, that's not a glitch. That's a marketing funnel with a ship attached. MSC doesn't have your loyalty yet, but they're not waiting around to earn it the slow way. They're coming in hot, cutting prices, and betting you'll take the bait. And honestly, it's working. MSC's prices aren't magic. They're the result of a business model that strips away anything the company thinks you won't miss. But when you start cutting costs behind the scenes, cracks show up fast. And nowhere is that more obvious than with their tech and customer support. Their app barely functions. It crashes randomly, wipes your dinner reservations, and sometimes refuses to open at all. Trying to book dining or check showtimes feels like solving a logic puzzle on a ship that forgot the instructions. And if you need help before or after the cruise from shoreside support, well, that's the final boss. Long hold times, endless transfers, and reps who don't know what ship you're booked on. You're not getting help, you're getting passed around until you give up. When things inevitably go sideways, because they will, this is where most people realize they're on their own. No one's reaching out to help you, and there's no backup plan or priority line, just you and a cruise line that's already moved on to the next booking. And that's why how you book with MSC matters a lot. Most people don't book with a travel agent because they assume it's just someone hitting the same buttons they could click on their own, but with a service fee tacked on. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Good travel agents lock in group space years before sailing, which means you get lower rates even after prices go up. They've also got relationships with the cruise lines, so you get access to deals and perks you won't find online. They pass those savings on to you instead of keeping the kickbacks. On top of that, they don't just save you money, they save your sanity. Instead of calling some random 800 number and waiting on hold for someone who doesn't actually cruise, you've got a real person, someone who knows your trip, the ship you're on, and can fix problems before they ruin your vacation. That's why we always book through Cruises It. They've saved us money, unlocked perks we didn't even know we qualified for, and always make sure we don't end up like Frank, who told the peer agent, "Don't worry, I'm kind of a cruise expert," right before he realized he booked the wrong month. Frank, you're early by 30 days. That doesn't mean you're going to be the first on the ship. With their low price guarantee and real humans who actually know what they're doing, Cruises It makes cruising simpler, cheaper, and way less stressful. So click the link in the description or call the number on the screen and tell them Evan from Family at Sea sent you. You'll be glad you did. MSC ships may look 5-star, but the included food might have your stomach filing a complaint. To be honest, the specialty dining on MSC is actually solid. In fact, it's really good. But if you're sticking to the buffet and main dining room, it's a noticeable step down from what you'd get on other lines. It's the kind of buffet you eat because it's there, not because you're excited about it. But where it really shows is in the experience. Long lines, slow turnover, and a layout that feels more chaotic than casual. Finding a table can feel like a scavenger hunt, especially at peak times. And in the main dining room, it's the same story. The menu has hits and misses, but the service is wildly inconsistent. One night, your server's fantastic. The next night, you're waiting 30 minutes between courses while your drink order evaporates into thin air. MSC isn't trying to impress you with their free dining. They're trying to keep costs down, move people through, and gently nudge you towards spending more on specialty dining. It's not a deal breaker, but if you're used to consistency, comfort, and food that makes you say, wow, this might feel more like checking a box than enjoying a meal. MSC ships have theaters. They have performers. They even have a schedule packed with shows. But if you're expecting Broadway-style productions or big crowd-pleasing performances, you're going to be confused when the curtain rises and it feels more like your high school's spring musical. Most MSC shows are short, abstract, and light on storytelling. Some have impressive visuals or acrobatics, but they rarely feel like full productions. They lean into European-style review shows with song, dance, interpretive moments, and done in 45 minutes or less. Still, not every show is a miss, and things are starting to shift. On board the World America, it finally feels like MSC is turning a corner, bringing in bigger, better productions that actually land with US audiences. It's a sign that MSC is evolving, but across most of the fleet, entertainment still feels more like a filler than a feature. If shows are a highlight of your cruise experience, you'll probably want to reset your expectations or upgrade your Netflix download list. Most cruise lines rent space at whichever terminal the port assigns them, but MSC is playing a different game. In Miami, they didn't just set up shop, they built the largest cruise terminal in the world, capable of handling 3 ships and 36,000 passengers per day. It's sleek, massive, and entirely under MSC's control while they lease space to other cruise lines. That means faster embarkation, lower long-term costs that are offset by other cruise lines, and a smoother guest experience, at least once you get past the app. They've done something similar in Barcelona, one of Europe's busiest cruise ports, where they also own and operate their own terminal. It's part of a larger strategy to own the infrastructure, control the guest experience, and avoid paying rent to competitors. Because look, here's the reality. When you control the terminals, you get to control the costs. It's one more reason MSC can run ships this new and this flashy while still undercutting everyone else in the market. Cruise lines talk about innovation, but MSC quietly builds it and then sails circles around the competition on price. Look, here's the reality. Cruise fans are used to being bombarded with ads, especially from the big names. Flashy commercials, sponsored influencers, and retargeting campaigns that follow you around the internet like a clingy ex. MSC, on the other hand, is nearly invisible by comparison. Yes, they made a splash with a Super Bowl commercial when the World America launched, but this was a rare exception because MSC doesn't rely on name recognition or blanket ad campaigns in the US. Instead, they let pricing do the talking. Without pouring millions into marketing overhead, they can redirect resources into building new ships, expanding their terminal footprint, and offering eye-catching deals that undercut the competition. While other cruise lines are chasing loyalty and brand awareness, MSC is betting that getting you on board once at a price that's hard to ignore is enough to make you come back. And for travelers who care more about how much money they're saving than what's plastered on a billboard, that strategy might just work. MSC's Yacht Club isn't just a nice upgrade for high-end cruisers. It's a key part of how the whole operation stays profitable. When a small slice of guests pay luxury suite prices for an all-inclusive ship-within-a-ship experience with private lounges, restaurants, pools, and priority access, it helps fund the deeply discounted fares available to everyone else. It's basically cruise class economics. The splurgers subsidize the savers. If that sounds familiar, it should. Norwegian's Haven, Celebrity's Retreat, Princess Sanctuary, and Royal Caribbean's new suite neighborhoods are all playing the same game, but MSC leaned in early, made it central to how their ships have been designed for nearly 20 years. So if you're wondering how they offer such cheap fares without cutting corners everywhere, the answer might be sipping champagne behind a velvet rope. Most cruise lines load up their loyalty programs with freebies, drink vouchers, free laundry, even free cruises. But MSC takes a different approach. MSC doesn't focus on building long-term loyalty through giveaways. Instead, their model prioritizes low fares upfront rather than rewards later. They do offer a status match, which is a great way to score perks quickly if you've cruised with other lines. And once you reach the diamond tier, you'll get a free specialty dinner for 2, which is genuinely valuable. But aside from that one dinner, the loyalty perks feel pretty underwhelming. No free drinks, no real upgrade opportunities, and nothing memorable to reward longtime cruisers that you can't buy yourself in the gift shop. If you enjoy chasing loyalty perks and stacking rewards, this could feel like a letdown. But if you're simply looking for the best deal without the perks game, MSC's strategy might work in your favor. This next one is a biggie, and that's because MSC isn't just a cruise line. It's a global shipping empire with one of the largest cargo fleets in the entire world. That means when it comes to stocking their ships, they're not relying on third-party vendors or middlemen. They can source their own food, wine, and supplies and transport it using their own logistics network. It's vertically integrated cruising. While other lines are at the mercy of rising freight costs and port delays, MSC can just reroute their own cargo containers to keep things running smoothly and cheaply. That's not just smart, it's a massive advantage. And it's part of the reason they can offer low fares without cutting corners in obvious ways. Because when you own the supply chain from warehouse to wave pool, you're not playing the same game as everyone else. You're playing on your own field with your own rules. But here's the bad news. Just because it makes business sense doesn't mean it makes passengers happy. And for all the way MSC saves money, some of these decisions land a little sideways with American cruisers. From service quirks to cultural clashes, there's a reason MSC sparks more debate than just about any cruise line out there. Now the good news, it's not as simple as just MSC's terrible. There are real trade-offs, and understanding them might just change how you see this polarizing cruise line. So don't stop here. Come hang out with me in the next one where I break down exactly why people love to hate MSC and whether the criticism is actually fair. If you're ready, I am. Let's go.